everyone, this is Dr. Sarala. Welcome to MILLET Magic. I have found while interacting with people that there's a lot of confusion regarding the topic of microbial imbalance. So I thought it's best to get all the information directly from Dr. Khadar himself. So here I am in conversation with my father today.
Hello.
Hello.
So, what's the problem with the microbial imbalance?
People don't seem to have a complete picture on what it is and why it's important and what they should do. So I'll start with the first question, that which microbes are we basically speaking about when we talk about the microbial imbalance?
When we say microbial imbalance, the place where microbes inhabit in our body is basically 99% is the intestines. So they are called gut microbes. And why are they inhabiting that place? It is very simple, that we have one living cell of our body. I personally think there may be thousands of microbes that exist to guide, assist and symbiotically live in our body. So if we have 1 billion cells in our body, there may be 1 trillion cells of microbes existing in our body. So we are not just what we are, we are actually co-inhabiting, rather living along with many different kinds of microbes. And most often each animal has particular set of microbes that are tied with in their guts. Say microbes in a cow are different from microbes in our body, or microbes in a donkey are different from our body. And the estimates are most of our microbes, major percentage of it is lactobacillus. That said, it doesn't mean we have only lactobacillus. There are a lot more different. Where do they come from? So you have to go back to the beginning. That is, when you are given birth, mother herself lodges important microbes in your mouth while you are coming out of the vagina. Sadly, that aspect is also gone out of the window in the present day because of IVFs and cesarean births, all these kinds of issues. So being natural, even when we are being born, itself is made impossible by the modern conditions. And that's where the imbalance starts to start with. After that, because of the penicillin, the so-called antibiotic discovery, that was meant for war condition, but then this money-making attitude of human race has started using not only penicillin, now a list of antibiotics,
Generation 1,
generation 2, generation 3, and now we have so many that it is impossible for the human race to have any microbes in their guts. And the kids that are born immediately are exposed to these antibiotics, and so the killing of the microbes in the process of killing pathogenic microbes, we have been eliminating all the good ones that do lot of great things to our health.
So antibiotics which we take when we have a cold or fever are the main reason for microbial imbalance?
That's one of the ways that we are pumping antibiotics. But of late, in the last 30-40 years, we have also been unscrupulous in making our food, especially meat industry has been pumping a lot of antibiotics and steroids while making eggs or chicken or meat of different animals.
Even milk.
Even milk. Milk is the ultimate problem. So now you understand it is not just the medicines and drugs of the allopathic world, it is the food itself has become the real enemy for us, and it itself is killing. And people think if I don't go out and get an injection or take antibiotics, I am okay. No, that's not the way. Even
directly
if
and indirectly
both we are killing. So you give a tumbler of milk to your baby, that's enough to start destroying the microbial gut. And you give your baby an egg, a piece of KFC, a burger of McDonald's, you are just started the war of killing the microbes that are very good for you. And this is how you lose immunity, because it is the inhabitants of this wonderful good microbes that prevent lot of pathogenic bacteria not to come into your body to start with. So the first front line defense, this is called. And once that is gone, you are in trouble. So the microbial imbalance has enormous effects deep into the system of even being calm, because there are a lot of wonderful chemicals that these microbes produce to soothe you, to give you good moods. So it is very obvious observation for Indians. Obviously, once you have a cup of buttermilk, you start cooling down, both in literally and mind-wise. So its effects are very deep into our existence, and people should understand that. So I am the one that believes very strongly that we have to live naturally. So our synthesis of food, now I use the word very consciously, the word synthesis. So we are synthesizing our foods artificially instead of naturally producing the food items. So this is the biggest danger that the human race is facing coming into future. So we are slowly from one point to the other becoming unnatural and disturbing the microbial balance. And the next level of problem will be, which is much more dangerous, because we are actually pumping this antibiotics, the bacterial and populations of microbes start becoming resistant, because they keep seeing these drugs more often, and they are not going to sit quiet and just take it. They are transforming themselves by various processes into superbugs. That means what? That all your chemicals, these antibiotics are not good enough, and that is the reason why we have now series of new generation. And you already know it has been creating problem for the allopathic world itself. In ICU departments, intensive care units are actually not able to handle because resistance strains, and that's worse in the ICU. So all these things are happening. So people, be careful. Let's not lose the most beautiful relationship with microbes, and be careful. So if you speak of health, you need to have these microbes in your body. And so systematically we have been eliminating these microbes since the birth of the baby. So the most important imbalance that we have created, and don't get me wrong, imbalance we mean this number of microbes and the number of our living cells, and it is the wonderful, beautiful microbial coexistence with reference to our living cells and the microbes that are doing good for us. It is not the balance between the pathogenic bacteria or pathogenic microbes and the doing good for us bacteria. That's not what I am talking about. It is the balance, because this balance is very important. The living cells of our body are actually biochemically not capable of producing many factors that our body needs to be healthy, and that's where the balance comes, and that's what the wonderful job these microbial populations do to us. And just to give you an example, vitamin B12 is the most crucial important vitamin that we cannot produce, and we need to be depending on the microbes, and each and every animal for that matter. But there is a misconception given by the industry that we need to get vitamin B12 from meat. And how does that meat, rather whatever you are eating, a pig or cow or a deer or a rabbit or a donkey, monkey, dog, cat, all this.
Now everything's been added
everything
to the
has
list.
been added
Not
to the
just
list now
chicken
because of this COVID-19. It's not just chicken and pig and cow. So all these animals get their vitamin B12 because of the microbes that are present in their guts. So we cannot get the vitamin B12 from the meat, because we are supposed to be making vitamin B12 by our microbes, and then we will be happy, and that is the real fact of the matter. But then we have been misled as usual for many reasons. So this is the one of the most beautiful examples that I can give what microbial imbalance can cause to our health. And vitamin B12 is one of the crucial metabolite that is required for many metabolic activities in our body, and hence you become unhealthy. So then what does the establishment do? They keep saying you have vitamin B12 deficiency and then start pumping supplements.
Injections.
This is a supplement business. So this is the most important thing that the people should understand, that these things cannot be supplied, supplements, these are all business models. So you need to come out of it, because you cannot live in a business model. There has to be that symbiotic living of microbes. So you need to be very careful in not falling prey to this pseudoscience of providing vitamin B12 through tablets or through eating meat and things like that.
So other than vitamin B12 deficiency, which will obviously result if we don't have the microbial balance in our gut, what other harmful effects do we see because of the
amino acid sequencing and some protein synthesis, especially some amino acid synthetic pathways themselves require a lot more triggers. Not only the enzymes, preparation, synthesis, even the genetic coding. There's when to open up a particular gene, when to close the particular gene while synthesizing its possible mechanisms. Think of the microbial participation is enormous, and we have not understood lot of it. I think what all the human race put together with all this so-called wonderful research might have understood maybe 0.5 to 1% of the things that are going on in our body. So you cannot eliminate that and then say I will read this, I will do this, I will do that. So the best option we have, and simple thing, is to just establish this balance in our body. So let's do things naturally. So where do these microbes come from? They have to be obviously provided by the external world that we are consuming the food. So the food, and most often it comes from the vegetables, grains, fruits, and all the other things that we are exposed to. So the whole system, we are actually floating in the populations of microbes. It is that we take in and then host them, whatever we need, and the remaining things are there. So that is the way it works.
So, what are the conditions which are suitable for having a correct in the intestine for the bacteria to be in a balanced state? What are the required conditions in our body?
Right now, almost the whole human race is imbalanced because the way we are eating food. So the best option we have is making fermented porridge every week with different grains and eating few vegetables raw like cucumber, chili, one or two, or lady's finger, tomato. Not all vegetables can be eaten raw. So whatever vegetables that we can eat raw, and it varies from place to place. So in India, some people culturally we eat this raw, and some other place culturally they eat something else raw. So 5 to 10% of your food, you don't need to think that you have to eat lot of them to get the microbes. Once the microbes start settling down, they will start replenishing themselves within your body. So you don't need to,
as long as you're not flushing
them with antibiotics. So first thing you want to do is not to get these drugs into your body, and
by stopping
meat,
milk and directly taking the antibiotics.
And one more important point that I want to mention, which doesn't seem to catch people's attention, especially the so-called doctors and scientists, is sugar. Sugar, irrespective of what it does otherwise, it encourages all the microbes to grow. So if you keep eating lot of sugar, you are encouraging all the microbes to grow, and it's a very difficult battle that you are trying to create in your body. You put pathogens, you put antibiotics, you have this. So a hell a lot of confusion in the body if you keep eating sugar. That's why avoid sugar at all costs. See, sugar's impacts and effects are multidimensional. People don't understand what sugar can do for your body, and you should completely, at all costs, please do avoid sugar, because it is one of the important factors that can create microbial imbalance. So we are now slowly understanding what are the requirements to have good microbial balance. So go to fermented porridges, eat fermented foods like idli, dosa, buttermilk, and different kinds of buttermilk, making from different sources like finger millet, pearl millet, coconut milk, and pine nut milk over in the northern part of the globe. And there are many beautiful sources, peanut milk, sesame milk. So for heaven's sake, the most scientific thing that we can do is to establish the microbial balance. How do we do that? That's where the concept of fermentation comes into picture. So the fermentation of various food materials establishes the lost microbial populations in our body. One simple example I will give you. You have the green chili, that is the capsicum. That hosts lactobacillus. So if you just take the green chili and then remove the stalk and then put it in the milk, it helps to curd. So that means the vegetables, the fruits that we are eating, if you eat raw, you are actually enhancing the microbial processes. So that's why God has given us a lot of different kinds of vegetables and fruits to be eaten raw. Of course, not all vegetables you can eat raw. So if you happen to eat a tomato, if you happen to eat a green chili once in a while, if you happen to eat a cucumber or lady's finger, all these vegetables harbor different kinds of microbes that would go and start inhabiting our guts. Okay, we will cook and eat, but then you can also keep the cooked materials for some time, and then the fermentation process starts. Say, take for example lentils. If you keep it after cooking, over a period of time they start ferment. So various materials invite various kinds of microbes, and that fact has been noted by our ancestors, and all over the world various forms of fermented foods have been in vogue even today. And that is the most scientific thing that I find very exciting.
Like
idli and dosa in our country. And there is another beautiful concept called fermented porridge, which is actually universal, not just in India. All over the world, fermented porridge is the universal food for human race. Even bread. Yeah. But the difference is bread, idli, dosa, you cook after the fermentation. So you are getting the metabolites of the fermented process.
Products of fermentation.
Yeah. But then when you have the food after cooking, you ferment and do just like Ambali or fermented porridge we call in English. You get directly the microbes. You are not killing the microbes. So this is the difference, and this is the beauty of following the traditional and old methods, which are very scientific. I am not here to say that all the old methods are scientific, but then we should have the wisdom of choosing the right ones and leaving the wrong ones. So this is the whole concept of microbial imbalance, so which we have lost, and being scientific and so-called advanced state of science, we in this established allopathic system, no one is talking about it till I have been talking about this for the last 15 years. And why? Because once you get the microbial balance in your body, half of your diseases will disappear. That doesn't suit the economic model of this established allopathic world. So people, be careful, get back to our ancient systems of cooking and eat right and eat the right material. So lastly, different siridhanya, you make Ambali at least twice a week. You will start establishing the lost microbial imbalance in your body, and you will become microbially balanced, and your health will start coming back. Not only that, when you have chronic problems, not being able to come back to health, having Ambali on a regular basis will establish, and you will start the journey of health sooner than later. Thank you all.
So to conclude, the microbial balance is essential for all of us being healthy. In the absence of these symbiotic microbes inside our body, we are ending up with a low immunity and not being able to synthesize and absorb a lot of the macronutrients and micronutrients which are essential for our health. We are creating this imbalance due to the unrestricted use of antibiotics directly and indirectly, and what is required is for us to consume natural foods like the prebiotics, which are rich in fiber, like fruits and vegetables raw form, which will help to create a condition in our intestine which is optimum for microbial growth, and also directly consuming the probiotic microbes through the form of buttermilk, fermented foods and Ambali, which is fermented porridge. So by doing all these things, we can establish the microbial balance in our body again and lead a healthier life. Thank you.